Sure. Oh, there we
Good
go.
morning, Seller Session. I have a special guest with me today. Clydas Shoop. Okay, I messed up.
Shufis.
Shoopy. Yes,
Shufis. Yes.
you had
Hi,
it.
everyone.
I didn't want to say it wrong. You have a very special name.
Thank you. Thank you, Isabella.
Just like yourself, obviously. For those who don't know who the special man is here today, Miss Chelsea Cohen introduced me to you, and I'm so very grateful. I had a call with you, and you just blew my mind. So for those who don't know who you are, please tell us who you are, where you're coming from, and how old you are.
Okay. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. So my name is Clydas Šupys. I'm a 22-year-old Lithuanian entrepreneur, and I've been in the Amazon space for the last 6 years or so. I've created Amazon accounts management agency. We are growing clients to 7, hopefully this year 8 figures. Doing a lot of interesting Amazon technical stuff and managing accounts, building businesses. That's basically it.
So you were 16 when you started doing Amazon.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. 15. I think 16.
16
It
years
was
old.
2000. Yeah. I
How
think
did
it was in the beginning of the year.
That what made you start Amazon? Most people don't even know what Amazon is.
I mean, at that time, I was a very different person, and I was still, I think I was still a kid, like a very very young kid, teenager. But my parents, they had and still have a manufacturing business, and they just wanted to go online because that business was only distribution only and everything in retail. And for the CEO of the company to start doing Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and all that e-commerce stuff is kind of, there's too much other work going on. So I was good at math, I was good at English, and I kind of took over the e-commerce side of that business and started with 400 SKUs on Amazon, listed after half a year, all of them on eBay, on Etsy. But Amazon kind of really worked well, and I felt that this platform had the most potential. Before that, I haven't bought anything online. So it was kind of
any platform, not just Amazon, just anywhere.
I was 16 years old in a small country. Right. E-commerce, even now, even now in Lithuania, it's not as popular. Obviously, during the 2020 crisis, it became as popular. But at that time, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it really wasn't. And there was no information about Amazon. I mean, not much information in English back then. I didn't have any money for the courses, obviously, because I was still a teenager. So I had to learn everything myself. But Amazon kind of worked well for my parents' business. So that's how I started.
So your parents had products on Amazon, which is how you got to come in and kind of help them out, right?
Well, yeah, we can say that. Yeah.
Yeah. What niche were they in at that time?
Oh, it's a very niche product. I don't want to say the niche because it's the same product still, and they're the biggest company, the biggest manufacturer of that particular very niche product in the whole world, exporting to Japan, US, I don't know, all over the world. That's Australia.
Do you still help them with their Amazon friends?
Yes. Right now my agency kind of takes care of that business. But yes, I still get involved.
You bill them monthly, your parents? You send them invoices?
Oh no, I no.
So what you're saying is it's on the house. You take care of it.
Well, yeah, it's my family business. It's not about the money.
That's amazing. So it's interesting how, like, at such a young age, where most people just want to go out and be with their friends, and how did this affected your personal life in a sense?
Honestly, I'm not super outgoing type. So when I was still under 18, my whole life kind of looked like school, tutors, and work. I didn't really go out because I lived outside of the city, and the last bus left home at like 8 p.m. So I didn't have a social life outside of school and work. When I turned 18, got my driver's license and kind of got some social life, but I didn't really needed a lot of that. And in the later years, when I served in the military, after the military and university, I have a good social life. Like for me, it's enough having a very small circle of closest friends with whom we've hang out with. I'm not a super party type, so I don't really need to go out to the clubs and bars. And for me, my lifestyle is the dream come true.
That's wonderful to hear, because not a lot of young kids have that mentality. So hopefully, with this podcast and probably your future YouTube videos, that you get to inspire the younger generation, because Amazon is an amazing platform to start even today. Even though a lot of people think, it's overly crowded, but there comes people like yourself, Gladys, that, you're so persistent and consistent that you will make it through anything in life. So that's so inspiring to see. Even for myself, when Chelsea told me about you, I was so very intrigued, because you are so young. And when most people, and I don't want to like generalize, but usually, kids just want to have fun. I mean, when I was 22, I had just moved to US. So for me, it's a completely different story. But all my friends back home, that's all they did. Like that was their, adulthood starting. They wanted to party and they wanted to be out, and nobody thought about necessarily getting a job or even starting such a massive career like yourself. So
I don't feel like 22 like everyone else. I think that business in my life has changed me and allowed me to grow up, I guess, faster than most of my peers. I mean, even the time I served in military, I was still like, they let me go during the weekends to go back home. And
what was that? How old were you?
I turned 19 in there, so I was 18, 19 years old.
Was this voluntary or?
Yeah. So we have a program where you could go in for 9 months. So you do the basic training, you get a specialization, and you're put into the reserve. So you're not actually like flying out to fight or anything. It's only training. So we have like it's semi-mandatory, I guess. Sometimes you might get picked, but I went as a volunteer right after school. So after like that time kind of helped me grow as a person and kind of really put my life more into a like perspective, I guess. And, helped me take off the rose-colored glasses to really understand how life is or works, I guess.
What made you do that? What made you get into military?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of factors. I mean, obviously, one of the factors is patriotism. Another factor is that I am just generally interested in the war economics, in guns and shooting, in all that romantic sides of the military life. I got to live that life. I mean, good enough for me. After that, I don't want to be a soldier. It's not who I am. But I really wanted to get that experience and just try it out for myself. And I did enjoy it. Like I can say I did enjoy it. And even now I frequently, when the quarantine when the quarantine ends in my country, I go out with the airsoft with 100 people, and we go out, do the airsoft battles, still getting some of that military life.
So when you said they put you on reserve, does that mean you go in once a year, a bit of training? How do you keep up with the current?
Yeah, so in Lithuania, in that particular program in which I am, so I think in 2 years I will have to get back for like 2 or 3 weeks of training. So it's like when you serve after 5 years and then after 10 years, there's not a lot to like forget, because it's generally the basic things, or at least that's how it seems to me. Once you learn how to shoot, you know how to shoot.
I guess that's a good skill to have. it's just so impressive that you took these major steps in your life. Like, what makes you different than, your peers? Like, what do you think pushed you to take these steps, like start a business at 16 and then go into military where you could have so many other options? Like, what is it that drives you?
Well, just one correction. I didn't start a business at 16.
You started working
I started about 2.5 years ago. I can honestly say there are two parts to this, and one of the bigger parts is my father. So he's my mentor. He really gives me some of that motivation, and with his long experience in business, he gives me a bit of a guidance, or helped me in the very beginning when I did really need that guidance to help me decide on whether I should pursue one path or another. So that was a really major help in the beginning, or a turning point. And further along, I honestly, from the very childhood, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to do something more than most people, I guess. And I kind of envisioned myself into the role that I am in now, I guess. So I don't know. For me, like, work doesn't feel like work, and that kind of drives me to work even more. I know it seems complicated for me, but I guess it's just that inner drive. It's not per se like motivation, because motivation is external. It's more inspiration from within to do these things. And then I have my family who are really, really supportive of what I do. And I think that kind of, fulfills the whole bowl to help me rolling.
Do you ever try to get your friends involved? Or do they ever wonder, like, what is it that you do all day? Like, how do you explain? I mean, it's hard for me to explain to, like, my friends what I do. Quite hard to understand.
Me and my friends, like, we're a very crazy bunch. Like, every one of us is doing something either big or something really impressive and crazy in very, very different sectors. So I personally have I'm clueless to what my friends actually do. It's similar as what I do for them. So they might be wondering, but we don't really talk much about work because we don't understand each other's work.
It makes sense, but
it's more about the bigger ideas.
But you are all holding each other and inspiring each other with your work. Everybody is doing something, so you're not the one that's like holding the whole group together. Everybody's in their own way. That's
exactly
so wonderful. Let me show you some of the comments we have here. Because I'm pretty old. You made me feel really old. Good luck to you. I know, I agree. You are a wonderful person, Faidas, and those that know you can definitely attest to that. Thank you to this Facebook user. Sometimes StreamYard doesn't show who the person is if they don't put their name. And Mohammed said, "Good to see you growing, bro. Stay blessed." It looks like you have a big following as well. So your group in Lithuania, tell me a little bit about it. When did you decide to move from, just working on family business and actually serving your community as well? Because that is a big step. Because it's one thing when you work with your family and, everybody loves your kid and it's different than when you're like, you know what? I am able, and actually I feel capable now that I can take on clients, because that's a big responsibility. So when did that start for you?
After military, I went to Thermo Fisher as an intern for the IT. So that's the whole summer kind of passed for me working as an intern for free, plus working with Amazon. When university started, so I studied informatics, computer science. I always had this idea that you cannot be just a student. Like, you have to do something else. Like, you have to have your own other projects that you're working on, because you cannot be just a student. Like, for me, that kind of stuck in my mind. And in the beginning of the school year, we went on a meetup like the group itself, I think back then, like it still existed. I didn't create that particular group. Now I'm leading the group, but I didn't create it. So the group was there. I think we had 400, maybe 300 people or something like that, maybe 6. Hard to remember. But I kind of started engaging in the group itself. I started writing technical posts about Amazon, about my daily work that I do for my parents' business. I started speaking in the meetups, started speaking events, like speaking about things that are so clear to me that feels like common knowledge. And it was an incredibly huge surprise that it wasn't common knowledge. That was something that people don't really understand fully. It was something that people are interested in. And generally, that's how we started. Like I understood that my experience of 3 years working with my parents' business is actually helpful for others. So it kind of got the ball rolling, and it kind of started my whole, entrance into the public domain, I guess. And started writing, started giving interviews for the media, for the radio, for television, local, etc., etc. And people started coming to me for help. Firstly, it wasn't as taking on clients, monthly clients to grow their businesses, nothing like that. In the beginning, it was small technical problems, like small technical solutions. Someone cannot add their product to a variation. Someone, got an issue that he cannot solve. They want some help. Someone wants to do, a bit more of the PPC or optimize their PPC. And I kind of started doing the small tasks, small jobs for people, and started doing consulting. I didn't really advertise that, and people just came to me for help because I was engaging in Facebook, and started consulting, started helping with small tasks. And even though back then, like I didn't understand as much about Amazon as I do now, but those small steps, those consulting calls and consulting meetups, those small jobs that I did built my experience, because I saw hundreds and thousands of products, and I analyzed all of them, and I analyzed thousands of different situations, which helped me bring up my knowledge to the next level. And at that point, I think it was like half a year later, I dropped out of university because I just couldn't keep up with the work, and I saw that it was getting momentum. So after I dropped out, I think I dropped out when I signed up my first or second client monthly, because then I saw there was actually potential to this road that I was taking on. And that's how my clientele kind of started growing.
So yeah. you dropped out of college?
University, yeah.
Right. That's I feel like every good story starts with that.
I mean, for us, it's different. In Lithuania, it's free. So it's not the same system as is in the US. And universally, like I wish I had stayed, and I wish I had finished it. But I know that if I stayed, my life would be completely different, because I just couldn't, allow the time that it's needed to do the things properly in the university and do things properly in business. So I had to choose one or the other. But yeah.
No, I think you made a wise decision.
It was calculated. It was very calculated.
I can see that. I can see you're very calculated. But when you started, being more engaging in the group, you said something very important that I want to repeat for those listening. Mm-hmm. Started offering a lot of content, which is, I don't know if you did that consciously or not, not in a way that it will bring you some income later, but you actually knew that you could help a lot of people with the knowledge that you had, which later translated into you becoming this successful entrepreneur and figure, you would say, for Lithuanian Amazon community. You are pretty much it. Like, they look up to you as the leader, the thought leader in this category, right?
Yes. I mean, it's you do get some sort of satisfaction when you can help others, and when you help others make money organically, some of that transfers to you. So if you focus on helping others, and generally, let's say Facebook commenting, helping people when they have technical questions. Like for me, technical is the part of the job that I understand well. Like the creative side, the communication side, it's not something that's my strong side. For me, it's all about the technical issues, technical problems, actionable steps that like we can do to actually get some results. And I think that was also the angle that helped me get to where I am today. Because in all of the conferences and in all of the Amazon events in Lithuania and outside of Lithuania that I spoke in, I focused on the technical stuff, not the motivational stuff per se. And something that people could actually, after listening for me to bantering for 2 or 3 hours, they could actually make a decision whether to start doing Amazon, or they can actually get the roadmap or technical steps that they need to do to make more money on that particular platform.
So, question for you. Would you say that knowing the technical side, it's more important than having the right mindset? What's your opinion on that?
I know, your show is called Mindset Mondays. I'm not a very mindset focused person. I do think that the technical side of things, it's much more important because it has been much more important for me. Right now, yeah, I do understand the importance of the correct mindset, but that can also translate to, technical steps and to actionable steps in your business. But back then, if I didn't have the technical experience, it didn't matter that wouldn't matter what my mindset was. Because if I have nothing to offer that can directly help someone or make money for myself, for my parents, for my clients, that doesn't mean anything. So I think technical side of things, it's much more important than mindset. But once you get the technical side of things, once you become an expert, a specialist in a particular niche, then the mindset comes to action.
Okay, I like to debate that. So if you, let's say you do have the technical side, right? So you have from A to Z steps, and you tell a brand new seller, hey, you have to do this technical. Sign up for a Seller Central account. Talk to a supplier. Do this. Let's say they get to point C, but they feel like, you know what, they made a mistake or something happened that was outside their power. And then they say, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is where the mindset comes in, because I don't think you realize that the mindset is what made you Clydus. Because yes, you have the technical side, but also you can go on YouTube right now and you can literally learn how to make $1 million or more. We all have access to this information, to this technical side that you're referring to, which 100% is extremely important. But if you don't have the right mind to continue, because what happens is, to get from $0 to $1,000, you're going to have very small problems that are easily accomplished, and then from 1,000 to 10,000, you have bigger problems, and from 10,000 to 100, and so forth and so forth. So there comes a time where technicalities will bring you to a certain point, but if you don't have the right mindset to conquer these solutions, you will never get. But for you, because it comes intrinsically, it comes so naturally for you, you think that you didn't have that mindset. And that is why I wanted to bring this to your attention, because of our conversation earlier before starting the show, about doing things. You're doing things, you thinking that everybody else knows, but really you had to get yourself there. And even the fact that you did decide to go to military, where maybe a bunch of your friends just didn't, they just stayed home and watched TV. That was a mindset shift. You deciding to work with your family. I'm sure your family had plenty of money that you never had to work. I don't know your situation. I just assume. If that's the case, then you didn't have to work. They could have given you a car at 18 and be like, enjoy, and you would have taken some girls out to a movie or something. But your mindset didn't allow you to do that.
I mean, my family, like we're middle class per se, but I did get a car at 18, and on my birthday when I was 18, I got my driver's license. I took that car and I took my first girlfriend for a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the car itself, like
What can I tell you? I'm also
it was a work car, but but yes, I do agree on that. The technical side of things can take you so far, and I guess there were a few points that I really agree. Like when the seller, for a seller to understand the way this business works, right? When they should give up or not give up, or when they should pursue it even further. Yeah, a lot of mindset, I guess, comes into that. But I personally just don't. I don't focus on these things as the mindset part, but I focus as them as the rules of the game part. So, for example, the Amazon advertising, the way it works is that you're investing into advertising similarly as, let's say, dividend stocks. You can't sell them, let's say, right? But you're getting dividends if you've done these things correctly. Like you're investing, that's why you can go to negative in some cases where that's needed. Like I don't think that's mindset part. I think that's a technical part, because like this is the rules of the Amazon game.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
100%. But also, I don't know if you know the statistics, and I don't have the numbers in front of me.
95% fails, something like that.
Oh, is that right? So
yeah, I think so.
Do you think that's about mindset, or do you think that's about technicalities? Do you think these 95% of people, they must have known something about Amazon? I mean, they obviously passed that first stage where they have to at least get a Seller Central account. They probably had a conversation with the supplier. They probably had a stock. And what happened to them? The technical part is there. They can come to you. They can see your videos. They can see Danny's videos. They can see all these YouTube celebrities that will teach you exactly what you have to do. So what do you think happened there? Why do you think they fail?
Sometimes it's hard to say, because I don't know them per se, but from my experience from the situations that I have encountered, it wasn't about mindset. It was about poor choices and poor selection. Sometimes it's the poor selection of products. Sometimes it's poor calculation of finances. Sometimes it's not understanding of the niche itself. Sometimes it's not having the technical knowledge to do your own PPC properly. Sometimes it's just thinking very directly and throwing money at a problem when no money was needed for that particular problem. Let's say someone that has zero idea what they're doing, let's say a company that's selling in real world, and they hire an agency that's not maybe exactly the correct agency for them, and they have no idea what's happening with their account, and that agency is not really doing anything, and they're losing money, for example, right? So they don't really look deep in the business. However, I do have friends in the Amazon space, friends that I've done coaching for. They haven't bought my Lithuanian course because they wanted to do only coaching. I think that was part of the mindset part. But there are a few people that I know that right now are really successful sellers, and what differentiated them from most others was the way they did product research, the way they looked very, very deeply and analyzed everything in their business, all the numbers, all the competitors, everything step by step, the plans of action, going through the whole business as one should go about creating a business, fully understanding how they will proceed and how the niche works, and analyzing what they can analyze. So I think a lot of people kind of don't take this as seriously as they should. That's mindset. But a lot of them, they just don't have the technical skills or the correct technical skills or understanding of that side of the business. I cannot speak about the 95%, but I have a few examples in mind of where someone just really picked a very poor, they had a very poor selection of the product, and they immediately invested a lot of money when they shouldn't have done that. So there's a lot of factors in here, and we can't put it, to one side of the or the other. I think it's kind of a lot of hundreds and hundreds of different, thousands of different stories and thousands of different situations.
Correct. I agree with that. Again, I think the technical part is extremely crucial. But let's say you're saying this 95% that fail, they made a mistake along the way. They maybe invested in the wrong product, or they didn't do product research. They didn't follow the technical rules per se that you're saying. So are you saying that the 5% that are successful, they've done everything perfect?
Probably not. No. I also do have a couple clients that their fourth product was the one that actually went well, so they didn't give up. So
there it is.
There is that part.
So that is where the right mindset comes in, and this is why I accentuate this so much, because yes, it's great having the technical part, but looking back at like my life and those who I meet and I interview that are very successful, the mindset part is extremely high, because we all go through very, very big issues and problems, but the part where the mindset comes in is not giving up when you have those issues. Because trust me, these 5% didn't all do perfect research, didn't all invested in the right product. No, but what happened was, let's say they did pick the wrong product, or maybe they picked the right one, but their whole shipment goes missing. They lost a lot of money. Is that person that decides that despite all of these issues that they have, they are coming back, because doesn't matter what happens to them, they already have the long-term goal. So it's very easy to give up. It's extremely easy to give up. I know you have things in your life as well. Maybe you can't think of them right now, but going back to what we know is the easiest thing we can do, which is why, if you were to take this to a little bit more personal, like if you look at the outside world, let's say abused wives that stay with their husband even though they beat them all the time, is because they're used to that. Even though it's so bad, they're scared to move on, because this is what they know. So if you take this like in business, it's so easy to say with what we know. So when the first thing happened, like let's say in a Amazon business, they say, well, I knew I wasn't going to be successful. I should have never started that. This is what I'm talking about, mindset. So I think mindset has a huge, huge importance in running any type of business or in your personal life, because the way we are all forever going to have issues in our life. We're always going to have problems. At what level? Just like I said, going from a 0 to 1,000, they're bigger problems every single time. Trust me, the problems that we have as millionaires, they're not the same as billionaires. They would look at these problems and they would laugh. But at some point, they all had to go through that. And the bigger you get, the more problems you have. So you could give up at any stage you want. And this is what's beautiful about life. And this is why I'm so passionate about talking about mindset, because it's the small decisions in our daily life and in our business that is either going to hold us back or propel us into like the best possible experience that we could have on this earth.
It's hard to add something to that, but yeah.
Well, I just, I'm only saying this to you because you're 22 years old, and oh my God, you have so much ahead of you. And I know you may not think that mindset had a lot to do with your success, but I see you and all I see is mindset.
Okay. Maybe that's true.
When it comes to technical, trust me, there's a lot of other people who who can learn skill, and it's fantastic. I mean, obviously not everybody at the same level, but skill is easily learned. It's just about practice. Do you play any instrument, Titus?
No, I'm not super musical.
Do you want to bet that if you start practicing, let's say, guitar every single day for an hour, and I bring you back on the show a year from now, that you would be pretty good at this, even though you've never picked it up? So skill is learned.
Yeah.
So was mindset, though. So was mindset. I want to say, I want to read this comment from Anthony. Hello, Anthony, by the way. Getting started early, such a big advantage. You were crushing it years ago. Can't even imagine where you'll be a couple of years from now. Everybody loves you, and I can see why. And I want you to realize that.
Thanks, Anthony.
Somebody else is asking what exactly you do, Clytus, to build Amazon businesses. So if you want to go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So generally, we get two types of clients. We get sometimes a business that already sells outside of Amazon. They have their own products. They come to us and we start from scratch, only in the Seller Central, creating the listings, making sure we have the right copy from the right people, for example, from Chelsea, right? That we have the right infographics. Then we start on the PPC, the whole launch process, the whole scaling up process, the stabilization process. So we kind of take care of the account management side of things, the daily problems, the daily fires. Even today, we needed to change the listing copy, and Amazon literally removed all the detail pages, which literally means $4,500 lost in profit every single day. And we managed to fix that problem in 2 hours. So these are things that we're doing. And there's another type of seller that comes to us, is the seller that's already selling on Amazon. They might be doing 50K, 100K, 150K, and they come to us in order to save time and to grow their business. So we take care of the time saving with the technical side of things. Plus, we take over the PPC side of things to grow their business and monitoring the profit margins, monitoring the KPIs, making sure that we and the seller are on the same page, and kind of helping the seller build his business or her business on Amazon and outside of Amazon the way we can. We don't do anything outside of Amazon, but we still talk with the seller and make sure that that they are growing their business in general with our help. But mainly, it's all Amazon. 80% is PPC, 20% is managing the whole account with all the forest fires that a daily Amazon seller receives.
Of course, and of course, you love challenges, and that is why you're there, right? You want to be the hero and save the world, which I really love about you. And do you take Amazon US clients as well, or do you?
Oh, we mainly work with the US. Like 90% of our clientele is either from UK, Germany, or the US. Like, we don't really have that many Lithuanian sellers. I do tend to do more coaching for Lithuanian sellers until they grow to the level where we want to take them on, or when we can take them on, or when they are at that level where it's best for their business to start working with us. For some of my coaching clients, I do recommend sometimes to hire in-house help, which we train with the coaching, which we train, and they're working fully in-house because that's best for their business. So mainly we do work with the US, then UK and Germany. We do have clients all around the world, from Hong Kong, from Sweden, I think a few more countries, France.
Wow, that's wonderful. How many employees do you have?
Right now, our team consists of 7-8 people. So it's kind of one is working part-time.
Got it. That's.
We're really expanding and growing. Right now, this month we got another office, and most probably we'll outgrow it in a couple of months. Because it takes a lot of time to actually train people, because we do train our own people from zero generally. And we try to look for the right people who have the proper soft skills, and we teach all the technical stuff. So we make sure that everyone in our team is following our own guidelines, that are following the rules that we set, and the technical, and they're learning the technical skills from me, because I've tried everything in practice with dozens of accounts and hundreds of products. So it kind of takes a lot of time for us to train people, and it's quite expensive to train people, but we make sure that we train our own people fully. So we're kind of expanding. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, not gonna lie, it's really exciting growing the agency side of things. It's another world than only Amazon businesses.
Right. I'm very proud of you and excited. Christina said you are a boss. I see you know Christina, or at least you know each other. So that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Everybody knows you, it seems like.
I don't know. There's the Amazon family. I guess it's still very tight knit community. Mm-hmm. And with all the conferences, I do mostly go to conferences in Europe. So with all the conferences, we kind of get the opportunity to interact more closely with each other than, for example, in the US conferences, where you get thousands of people. So in Europe, we have 100 people or 150 people. So you do get to interact with literally most of them, and get a bit more, you can share a lot of insights, and you can learn a lot from the Amazon family in Europe.
Yes, I can understand that. Hopefully I'll get to see you this year in Europe, or you come to one of our conferences here. That will be amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm coming to London.
That's great. Before we go today, I want to ask you, are there any books that really have changed like your perspective and how you see things? Are you a reader?
Right now, I mean, honestly, yeah, I have to say right now I'm not a reader, because I still need to kind of form my daily habits more and try to spend a bit more time for myself. 2 years ago, when I wasn't doing as many tasks with my head, more like technical stuff, back then I used to really, really, really listen to a lot of audiobooks, like all the time. Literally, when I'm awake, there's like maybe 5 or 4 hours a day when I was not listening to audiobooks for the last 6 years or 7 years. So I was kind of into that. I would say one book that it's not about business or anything. It's just about it's about, like, the name of the book, I think it was The Game of Life, or Life is a Game, something like that. And from that book, even though it was kind of boring and hard to understand and very loopy, because there were like 7 books, the thing that I took from that book is that life is a game, and once you know the rules, then you can experience as much of it as you can, and you're trying to, you can do whatever you want as long as it helps other people. So if you're thinking about life as it is a game, you can stop thinking what others think about you. Stop caring what others think of you, and you can start focusing on your playthrough about your experience, about the experience of other people around you. And that kind of gave me a bit of more perspective, I guess, or the philosophy that I try to live my life is that life is a game, and generally just treat it like one, and enjoy experience. Like that's the part that kind of I took.
I love that. That's all about mindset, my friend.
yeah.
Back, I want you to be aware. I know you do. You because last time we spoke, you told me about like all the time you have spent acquiring this knowledge, and of course, because you've been in the game for so long, you don't even see it anymore. It's like trying to see the trees when you're in the forest, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to see that. So Kleidas, thank you so much for coming on today. If people want to reach out to you, where do they find you?
Go to my LinkedIn, Kleidas Šuipys, or Facebook, or pretty much LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
That's wonderful. I'm so happy you made the time to see us today. I know you are quite busy, and it's probably a little late for you as well in Lithuania, but we all appreciate you, and looks like everybody loves you, and we want to see more of you. And next year when I bring you on, I want you to bring your guitar and you can play for us. This is homework for you for 1 year from now. Thank you, Clytus. I'll hold you to it since you didn't respond. I'm just gonna
no, I would rather sing or something. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. 1 year from now, what's today? April 19 next year. It's a date. I will see you then.
That's too hard. I would rather build a 7-figure business.
Okay, you can do that too. Maybe selling guitars. Thank you. You've been amazing, and definitely want to see you again very soon. And I will follow your journey.
Likewise.
And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.